Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video we're going to make a really spring dress and we're going to make a polka dot design. And I found these inspiration pictures. I really like the V-neck, so we're going to make that for sure. And I like the slits in the front. The left one has 2 slits, so I really like that one. And what I also like is in the white one that has a sort of peekaboo in the front. This one has 2 bows on top of each other. I'm gonna make 1 bow and on top of that 3 buttons, so it's not that open as this one, but I really like the design of this one. And what I also liked were the puffy sleeves of the blue dress. I'm gonna make something like that because I saw somewhere else a really nice sleeve with a bow on the bottom that I really like, but it looks a bit like these puffy sleeves of the blue dress. So this is the inspiration and what we're about to make, and I show you in my drawing what my own design will be. If you like my videos, please subscribe, and we'll go on to the tutorial now. And here is my drawing. And now that I see it, I think it's really a shame that I'm so bad at drawing because it looks really old-fashioned, but I promise you it will look very, very nice. But I just cannot put it on paper, I just can make it in fabric. But I'll tell you what I want to make. I make just a straight down top with some darts on the side because then it fits more nicely. And we make some rather puffy sleeves with gatherings here on the shoulders, not all the way inside the armhole, so it's just a part of the armhole that is covered by the sleeve. And you can, when I make the pattern, you see what I mean. It has a slit from, it's closed from the on the top, but then it has a slit, and with the ends of the slit you can tie a bow. So it's a very funny sleeve that I saw somewhere, and I cannot really explain, but when you see the pattern you will see what I mean. So it's a very different sleeve. Then I want a little bit of a cutout here at the waist. If you don't like it, don't do it, just make your top normal, but I like to do something special, so I cut it out a little bit higher. Oh, I forgot, because we're gonna have a bow here too, because also here we're gonna tie the ends of the top together in a bow, and then it looks really nice, I think. The skirt then is attached on the back but not on the front, so on the front it is just loose from each other. And then we have a sort of a wrap, so it's this part over that part, where we have buttons here for as low as you want it to be. I make then a slit all the way down, and we have a dart here, the same as this one, but then only a dart with a slit. But if you don't want that, you can make also this further closed, or you can just leave this, make this closed all the way down. You can do that too, but I'd like to make some 2 high slits for the skirt. Then for the back we have that straight down top again with 2 darts to the waist, and these darts connect to the darts on the skirt, the mid darts on the skirt, and we have 2 extra darts on the sides because then you get more room for your butt, and then the skirt will look more nice at the back over your butt. It gets a more rounded shape. So that's what for that. Well, the rest is just plain and simple, so nothing special for the back part. Then the fabrics that I have, I already showed you in the end of the former video. I have 2 really nice polka dots. One is more busy and the other is more with more space between the dots. This one also has a bit of a sparkle, I don't know if you can see it. And I still haven't decided which one I'm gonna make. So I really have to choose now because I have to cut it later on, and I'm really not sure. The funny thing is I already made the video of the pattern making, and I was really sure that these fabrics weren't stretchy, but they are, and not a little also. They are very stretchy, and in the pattern making I added some centimeters of the basic top. because the basic top is your sizing, but when you have really a stiff material that's not stretchy, I'll always add some centimeters. And because I thought this was just a stiff fabric, I did that. But it doesn't matter, because I think even though this is stretchy, I will use those extra centimeters, because then your dress will sit a little bit more loosely, and that's more comfortable when the weather is warm. So just see what you want to do. If you have a stretchy fabric, you can choose to not add the extra centimeters. Well, add the centimeters for the darts, but just the extra centimeters that I gave because of the stiff fabric, you can skip that if you want to. And if you want to do it anyway, then when you have a size small or medium, you can use the centimeters that I added. If you are large or extra large or more, then certainly do 3 or 4 centimeters, but try it on, because it can be way too much if you do that, because you made that pattern, basic pattern, to your sizing. So maybe you don't need those extra centimeters. So just try it on, cut more, but try it on before you finish it, before you finish a part of the sewing, to see if you need those centimeters, but because it's possible that you don't even need it, especially when your fabric is stretchy. So I have to choose now which one it will be, and I don't know. So for the pattern, make sure you have the basic pattern that I already had a video about. I link it down below in the description box, and trace that all around and leave some paper around so you can have room to make your adjustments. Make a v-neck, see how low you want it to be, and then make a little bit of a cutout on the bottom. Then mark your apex and draw a dart from the side seam to the apex, and add around 1 to 2 centimeters to the side seam if your fabric is not stretchy, because then you have a little bit more to work with if it's too tight when you just use your basic pattern. Then cut that one out. And to make the dart, you can open it up on your fabric and then cut it out, or make a new pattern with the opened dart. That's what you like to do. Then trace your facing 3 centimeters from the mid part that you're gonna cut out separately from your fabric to use as your facing. Here I draw the facing out separately, because that is easier to cut when you have your pattern separate from your basic pattern, from your top pattern. You must open your dart around 2 centimeters. Now I'm cutting out the bow. The bow will be 15 centimeters long and 4.5 centimeters wide. So that's just a sort of a bow part. Now I'm gonna trace how wide my front part is for the skirt. Mark your mid front and your side, and then mark where you want your slits to be and where you want your darts to be. So the darts in the front skirt will be 11 centimeters deep and 3 centimeters wide, and we make them in the left and on the right skirt. But the left skirt will be also the overlay. So you make sure you add the centimeters of your darts to the side seams, because we're gonna sew them together, so you're losing them in the mid. So add it to the sides. Here I'm cutting the left and the right piece loose from each other and at length. They'll make the overlap there. And then I glue on a piece of fabric for the overlap, so that I have more fabric to the left skirt, so that I can fold it under. Now I'll make my side seam. Just make them to the width of your skirt. Then you're going to trace your back pattern, just the same as the front one. Also add your centimeters to the side. Make sure your neckline is okay. And then we're going to make a dart that will be 12 centimeters high and 3 centimeters wide. And again, add those 3 centimeters to the side seam and 1 or 2 centimeters extra if you have a non-stretchy fabric. And cut that out. And again, use that to make your back pattern for the skirt. So align that, mark the mid and the sides, and also mark where your dart is, because we want to align the darts from the top and the skirt. And one dart will be 3 centimeters wide and 11 centimeters long, and the other one is 2 centimeters wide and 9 centimeters long. So the 311 will be matching the top dart. Then measure how long your skirt, and again mark that down and make your side seam to the end width of your skirt, and that will be the width of your fabric. And you're gonna cut that out. Then you'll take your top pattern to measure how wide your sleeve must be. I put it in the armhole a bit lower than I show you now. I did it 3 centimeters from the side seam. So I made the triangle 60 centimeters wide and 40 centimeters long, and I cut that in half. So this mark here that I mark here now is the midline. And so it's 30 and 30 and then 40 centimeters long. And I marked 15 centimeters from the top for the slit. So the top 15 centimeters we're gonna sew down. Here I made it a bit wider because I thought it was a bit too small. And then that's where you gather your seam. So now we've cut out everything and we're gonna start sewing. So we're gonna start with sewing the darts. So make sure you have it marked well on your pattern with pins or with chalk or whatever you like. If you're not sure how to sew darts, I explained it in my chiffon trousers video and in my swimsuit video. So I'm gonna make a special video out of it, but I haven't done it yet. So if you're not sure, watch other chiffon trousers or the swimsuit where I explain exactly how you sew them like you should do. So first sew those darts, then we're gonna sew the shoulder seams and the side seams from the top. Then you also can sew together the facing parts, and make sure you have reinforced them with some interfacing that is matching or that is suitable for your fabric, because it's depending on what kind of fabric you have, what kind of interfacing you need. So ask in your fabric store if you're not sure about that, what you should use best. And these also we're going to sew together on the shoulder parts, the shoulder seams. And then also we can make the tie strips that we put under the front. It has to come here at the end of the top. Sew them together on the pointy side. I must say this one you don't have to do, just this one, and then turn them inside out. And when we've done that, then I'll come back for the next step. Make sure you have your seams all nicely pressed down. Also your darts. Press the darts always to the thickest part. So these in the front, they go up, and those in the back goes to the middle. These pieces make the nice, press them nice and flat, and then we're gonna pin them on the top, and they have to end like this. So that means we're gonna pin them like this in between the facing. So we're gonna pin the facing all around with these sticking out, and then we're gonna sew all the facing down. You should have something like this, and what we have to do is now is to hem the bottom part, and I'll make a very small rolled hem there. I stitched the facing already here down the ends of the top, so that is already secured. So only a small rolled hem, and then we're gonna set this apart for a while. And then we take our triangles for the sleeves, and you put 2 triangles together. So you put them right sides together, and then you sew the top 15 centimeters of this straight line. Oops. And that means that we pin them together, those 15 centimeters, and the bottom stays open because that is the slit, so that we can tie them in the bottom. And what you do is you can do it later, but you can also do it now, because now you are working on this seam. See where my 15 centimeters is, where I took it out. You can, when you have done this seam, you can already seam this part to the end and the other triangle with a small rolled hem, just a little bit folding in and again in, and then sew that as close as possible to the edge. So that's what we're going to do with the 2 triangles. And when you have done that, then you open it up, and then you're going to gather the whole top part with 2 stitches, so that we can gather it up in ruffles. No, not in ruffles, what it's called, gatherings. So that's what you do for the 2 sleeves, and I'll come back and show you how we put them into the armholes. So if you have finished all the sides, and there were a lot of sides, all the way down the outer of the triangle and here in between. So you've finished that with the rolled hem. Then we're gonna pin in the sleeves. And that means if you have the gathers on the top, you take one of the threads, the top or the bottom, that doesn't really matter. The one that gives with you. I have to see, this is what I really cannot see with my bad eye, so I have to find something. Yes, there it goes. And I always take it from one side and then from the other, so that I don't pull out my whole thread and I can do it again. See on this side which one goes. Then you pin the middles together, so the shoulder seam and the mid of your sleeve. And I marked up where I want my sleeves to be in the armhole. So I put a pin in the front and in the back of the armhole, and that will be where I pin the end of my sleeve. And then I'll just make the gatherings in between so that it will fit. So you pin it in the end on one side and on the other side. And then you distribute the gathers in between so that it's nicely gathered in between. And if you need to gather some more, just pull again on your thread that you get more gathers so that it will nicely fit in your armhole. And then you're going to sew that all around, and then you have something like this. And that means when you've done that and you've finished that seam, then also your sleeve is done, because you only have to cut threads like this. But then you tie a knot at the end, or a bow, or whatever you like to do, and then you have a really nice puffy sleeve. And not difficult to do, but it looks really different from a normal sleeve or a normal puffy sleeve. So I'm gonna do that for the two sleeves, and then the top part is finished. Then we go on with the bottom, the skirt. And before you do this, first try this piece on and see if the shoulders are okay. Maybe you have to shorten it a bit when the fabric is a bit too much over your shoulders. Make sure that it really ends where you want your sleeve to begin, because this is a puff sleeve, so it goes a bit over the shoulder, and it's not nice when this is already hanging a bit down the shoulder. So try this on first before you sew it on, or try it on when you've pinned your sleeve on. That's okay too. Okay, then we go on with the skirt, and first we're going to sew in the darts. So I pinned my darts, 1 in the front panel and 4 in the back panel. Pin them down and sew them, and then we're going to sew the back and the front skirts on top of each other. So we're going to sew both the side seams, and then I'll go back for the next step. that the skirt is prepared, we can sew the back of the top to the back of the skirt. So align the side seams and then pin from one side seam to the other, because that is the part that we're going to attach the two to each other. And then sew this, finish it with a zigzag or with your serger, and then we'll go to the front of the skirt, and then we're gonna make the overlap of the web. So now we have the skirt attached to the top, and what I forgot was that I wanted the slit also along the other dart. So what I did, I cut it in from the hem to the dart, and I sewed the dart a little bit further down closed till where I want the slit to end. And these two pieces I give it serged, and then I'm gonna hem it just by folding it in once and top stitch it down. The other side is where we're gonna make the closure, so with the buttons. So I put them together to see how much I want them overlapping, so that the skirt is nicely fitted here at the waist, because we don't have a waistband, but so we have to do it that it really fits well. And it means that we have some overlap and also some facing, so we're gonna fold this in as much as you need. The other side too, and of course finish the edges of the facing, and we're gonna put them, measure how you want them on top of each other. I marked it with these pins. I don't know if you can see it with all these polka dots, but I marked here a line with pins how I want this one to match the other one. Then we make the buttons and the buttonholes, and then make sure here where the slit starts that you have this open, so that you don't have a facing here anymore, but that is just the same as the other slit, just falling open with like this. So make sure that here your facing ends by making a top stitch or something, and then cut the fabric off and just fold it in with a hem, so that you have a nice same slit as on the other side. And then of course hem the top of the skirt. If it doesn't fit nicely, you can also put just a piece of elastic in the inside, so that it will stay nice and snug on your waist. See what your fabric does. When you have a stretchy fabric, it might just sit well just by hemming it. If it doesn't, or when it goes gapping, then just put a piece of elastic on the inside of the hem here. Okay. What else to do? Of course the hem on the bottom, well that's obvious, nothing special. And then just the buttons and the buttonholes also for the top, of course, because we have here now just a little piece with buttons. Oh, just out of frame. This needs the buttons, and then the part of the skirt needs the buttons. And then we are finished, and I think it looks really nice already. So I'm very curious how yours turned out. I hope you can send me sometimes some pictures through Instagram, so that I can see what you made, because I'm very curious how your creations look. So hope you will do that sometime. I'm gonna make this, and I think then I will be back with the end result. Maybe you see me in between, I don't know yet. I'm very happy with the result. If you don't like to show the skin, just make your top longer and attach it to the front of the skirt. And just make sure you align the buttons, so go this to the middle or go with this diagonal to the skirt. And then you just can close it up. But for summer, I like this and it's not too much, I think. So I'm happy with this. I really like how the sleeves turned out. These puffy ones with the bows on the bottom. I think it looks very nice. The slits are not too high, but just a little bit. And well, I think you can really see nicely how here the seams go. That gives you a nice curve. And well, I'm very happy how it looked. I was trying in this video and also in the former video to do the voiceover, and this one about the pattern making, and I didn't really like it. I would like to know if you like it, because for me it's rather difficult, because I have to talk about it when I'm not doing it, and then I have to remember what the sizing was of the darts or of the whatever I'm doing, and for me it's very difficult. The advantage is that I can speed it up, so I can move it fast forward with the video, so it takes a lot less time. But I don't really like the thing of doing a voiceover at the end. I like to just tell what I'm doing and then do it and explain you why I do something, or then I have in mind what I want to tell or what I think I need to tell you. And when I do the voiceover, I'm not physically doing it, so I'm always forget things and then I have to write it down in the caption, and I don't like it. But if you like it, please let me know, then I will do the voiceover more frequently. Well, then I just have to figure out how to do it and make my notes or something to not forget what I need to tell you for making the pattern. So let me know if you like that. Also, I was thinking about showing in the video what the next project will be. And I don't know if you like that. Let me know if you like to see what the next project will be, or at least the fabric that I'm using. If you want it to be a surprise, then I don't do it. So just let me know. If you like it, I will show you the next. And this is the next one, this golden pleated. I don't know if you can see it. It looks very bright in the camera, but it's a beige gold pleated fabric. And I think you know what I will make out of it, but I'm not going to tell you. I just wanted to show you the fabric just to get you curious. Maybe in the mirror you can better see the color. Very nice fabric. So this will be the next project. And another question, I was thinking about doing an infinity dress, but then I saw there were tons and tons of videos about making an infinity dress on YouTube. So I'm not sure if I'm adding anything when I do that, and maybe I'll just make the dress for myself and not do a video about it. So let me know if you want to see how to make it. There are lots of them, and maybe you like to see how I do it, because I do everything different than other people. So maybe you're curious how I will make it. So let me know if you want me to make a video out of about an infinity dress. This was the polka dot dress. I'm very happy with the result. I hope you liked it. And yeah, nice start of the spring, I think. And lots of dresses to come, so lots of fun to make. Please subscribe if you like my videos, please share them, please leave a comment, because I always like to hear what you think of it, or what you want to see, or what you have on suggestions or comments or whatever. Please let me know, and especially about the 3 questions I asked. I'm very happy to know what you think about it, and especially about the voiceover, because I don't like it, so I think I will not do it in the next video, but if you like it, then I will. So just please let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next week. Bye!